back to another video. I hope you have been keeping very well. I am excited to bring you along this week and show you what I eat from Monday through Friday. As always, I'm eating vegan, but in this video, I'm also choosing to eat gluten-free because I know a lot of you eat a gluten-free diet and also want to eat vegan. So hopefully this will show you a bunch of really yummy ideas. First things first, Monday morning breakfast. I'm starting off the week well with some breakfast tacos. So these are some gluten-free tortillas with some vegan mayo as well as some greens. Tofu scramble, which you know how much I love tofu scramble these days, and if you don't like tofu scramble and you want to try and like it, this is a recipe I recommend that you try out. I'll leave it in the description box. Then also have some avocado and some red onion on top. So I've got a couple of those. And then of course I am also having an iced cacao to start my day. Even if I don't film this every single day, I am drinking this every single day. It's like a daily ritual for me, which I love very much. So that is how I am starting my day. Let's get into what I'm gonna eat for the rest of the week. So for lunch, I decided to make a pesto, but putting some peas in it. As well as that, I put some basil, cashews, and nutritional yeast, as well as some salt and some garlic, some olive oil, and some lemon juice. And then I add in all of those peas that I talked about, and this makes for a really vibrant green pesto that is not only delicious but also very nutritious. So I blend this all up, and then I put some of this delicious chickpea fettuccine that I've been loving so much lately into some boiling water to cook away for a few minutes. Whilst that's happening, I transferred this pea pesto into my pan and then added in a little bit of water and then added in my pasta and mixed this all together. Into here as well, I added in some cherry tomatoes, which I love having in my pesto pasta, as well as some spinach, which I also love. So this was a very delicious and nutritious lunch. When it came to dinner time, I love leek so much, and honestly I don't eat it enough. I don't give leek the respect that it deserves, and I decided to make like a tempeh and leek dish with some teriyaki sauce. That was my vision anyway. So into a bowl I put some teriyaki sauce as well as some rice bran oil. Then I put some of this chickpea tempeh, which I prefer chickpea tempeh to a soy tempeh. I put this in to get it all coated and marinated, and then I transferred this into my pan to cook away. So I left this to cook and soak up that delicious marinade for about like 5 to 7 minutes, and then I added in all of my leek that I had washed, and then I also added in the rest of that teriyaki sauce and oil mixture, and I fried this all up until everything got nice and like flavorful. You can sort of, that's a weird way to describe it, but you can sort of see what I mean with how they've just like soaked up all of this sauce here. And then I topped it with some sesame seeds, and it was a super delicious dinner. After dinner, I was in the mood to do a little bit of baking, so I decided to make these super simple almond flour thumbprint cookies. Now usually with thumbprint cookies you put some jam in, but I decided that I wanted to fill these with this hazelnut chocolate spread that's like literally my favorite thing ever. It's my 30th birthday this November. If everyone wants to remember that and get me some of this spread for my 30th birthday, enough to last a year perhaps, that would be perfect. Anyway, I put these into the oven, and then I cracked one open the next morning, and yeah, super delicious and also very, very simple. I'll leave the recipe down below for you. So when it came to breakfast on Tuesday morning, I'm getting back into acai bowls. I feel like it's like 2018, 2019 me is peaking right now with the food that I'm getting back into, and I decided to make an acai bowl for breakfast. I was inspired because I recently did a pottery class with my boyfriend, and I feel like I made the perfect smoothie bowl, which is this one right here. And so I made this super thick, delicious acai bowl, put some gluten-free granola on top, as well as some peanut butter, some fresh strawberries, and some fresh banana. So perfect. I'm definitely back into smoothie bowls now, so prepare yourself for that. It was a great way to start the day. Then when it came to lunch, I was working from home, having a bit of a busy day, but I wanted something yummy, delicious, fresh that I could snack on whilst I worked. So I made this like Mexican dip situation. I'm obsessed with it. Even looking at it right now, I'm like, I want to eat this so badly. It's like a garlic black bean bottom layer with some salsa, some coconut yogurt, some guacamole, some diced red onion and tomato with some coriander on top, served with corn chips. Literally so divine. When it came to dinner, I was in the mood to make like my favorite dinner at the moment, which is this super delicious peanut curry. So I start with some red onion and some sweet potato today. Sometimes I use pumpkin, potato, sweet potato, whatever. The thing I like about this curry is I feel like you can use whichever veggies you really like. So I use some massaman curry paste that I put in with the red onions and some oil. Then I added in some sweet potato and I mixed this all together and just started frying it up. Then I added in a little bit of water as well as some veggie stock powder. Then I added in some coconut cream or coconut milk, whichever you prefer, as well as some tinned tomatoes. I mix this all together and then I'm going to leave this to simmer to cook up those sweet potatoes and get them nice and soft. Then I added in some chickpeas as well as some frozen peas, continued stirring, mixing, heating it up. Added in some peanut butter and some lime as well. So then I continued mixing this all together. By the way, if you're looking for this recipe to come back to, I have it on my website, so I'll leave it linked down below if you do want to check it out and try it out at home. I love serving this with just some rice, some coconut yogurt, as well as some fresh coriander and some lime. It is so delicious. Hello, happy Wednesday. I am just making myself some lunch. But before we get into lunch, this morning for breakfast I went to one of my favorite cafe bakeries here on the Gold Coast, which is called Marie Anita's. It's a fully gluten-free and predominantly vegan / plant-based bakery and cafe. They have so many yummy things. It's like my new favorite spot at the moment. And this morning I took myself for a little breakfast date with myself and had an orange juice as well as their big brekkie, which came with some baked beans, some gluten-free bread, some greens, some avocado, a house-made sour cream, some tomatoes. Is that everything? Oh, and a really good house-made rosti hash brown situation. As I said, I'm just making lunch at the moment. I have some kale and some tempeh that I have fried up and I'm just going to put together a little bowl. I'm in my kale era again, by the way. I'm like having a full moment with wanting to eat kale like every single day of my life. So that's where we're at. Some greens as well as some cucumber, the crispy kale that I just made. Then I've got this tahini dressing that I made, which is just some tahini, lemon juice, maple syrup and water. One of my favorite simple creamy dressings to make for a salad. And then I am topping that with some chickpea tempeh. A super simple salad for lunch today. I am loving just throwing things like this together when I'm working from home. And not only is it nourishing me, it also tastes really good. Okay, let's have a moment for my friends at Cosmic Cookware. Over the past few months, you will have seen me using their gorgeous pots and pans on my Instagram and on my YouTube channel. And honestly, this is the best cookware that I have used in my entire life. It is really that good. Honestly, upon getting this cookware and then using it, the first thing that came to my mind was like, this cookware is the perfect gift for someone in my life or in your life who likes to cook or is a bit of a foodie, because especially the Cosmo pan is just like literally the most perfect pan. I use it every single day. And yeah, I think it would be perfect in any foodie's kitchen. So this is the Cosmo pan that I am talking about. And as well as that, Cosmic Cookware have a very gorgeous range of cookware that I will leave linked down in the description box if you would like to check it out. One of the things that I love the most about Cosmic Cookware is that they are toxic and chemical free with a non-stick coating and are very easy to clean, therefore very hassle free. You can use them in the oven up to 230 degrees Celsius fierce and they are great for use on all stovetops. They are also 100% Swiss made with a natural non-stick ceramic coating and are great for stewing, braising, boiling and baking. I genuinely love this cookware so much and I would buy it myself. If you are looking for some new cookware at the moment, I have a discount code for Cosmic Cookware, which is AmandaCosmic10, and I will leave a link down in the description box so you can go and check out all of their stuff and get yourself something if you're feeling like doing so. Okay, it's late arvo and I am keen on doing some baking, so I'm gonna get into making some vegan and gluten-free scones. Baking is just definitely one of those things that makes me feel so relaxed, and it's also just always so worth it because you have this delicious product at the end, which is so good. So I made these really yummy scones. I'll leave the recipe linked down below if you do want to try them out at home. And I also did them in this triangle shape, which I just love so much. I'm never going back to a circle shaped scone ever again. Okay, that's quite a big call, but at the moment, that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, I served my scones with some raspberry jam as well as some coconut yogurt, and yeah, really delicious. Such a lovely arvo snack. Good morning. So last night I had dinner with my friends and we just had a takeaway night. I got this really delicious rice noodle salad bowl situation. It had rice noodles and greens and tofu and this super yummy sauce that I can't quite explain what it was, but it was really delicious. This morning for breakfast I've got a little bit of time on my hands, and lately I have been really feeling like making some pancakes with like lemon and sugar on top. Let me know if you like lemon and sugar on pancakes and if it's something that you've had a lot of in your life, because I thought it was like one of the most popular pancake toppings of all time, and then recently I feel like I've learned that at least the people around me don't love it as much as I thought everyone loved it. So anyway, regardless, it's my favorite pancake topping and that's what I'm going to make myself for breakfast today. I actually find making gluten-free pancakes to be quite a easy thing to do, especially just like swapping out for a gluten-free flour. I find super easy. So yeah, let's have a lazy morning and enjoy making some lemon pancakes. I'm certainly excited for this one. So to make these pancakes, I start by making my vegan buttermilk, which is by putting some soy milk as well as some apple cider vinegar into a bowl and mixing it together and leaving it to sit there to like thicken for a few minutes. Then into my mixing bowl, I added in some gluten-free self-raising flour, some gluten-free baking powder and some coconut sugar, and I mixed this together, added in that vegan buttermilk as well as some olive oil, and then added in a vegan egg, like from one of those vegan egg baking mixture things. Then I mixed this together, ensuring not to over mix it, and then it was time to cook my pancakes. So this made about 6 pancakes in total, pretty decent sized pancakes as well. They're quite fluffy, which I love so very much. And then of course I topped it with a little bit of vegan butter as well as some maple syrup and some lemon, just the way that I like them, so ridiculously delicious. When it came to lunch, I had these vegan and gluten-free veggie patties in my fridge, and I had been really craving that like burger sauce flavor. I feel like most people will know the one that I'm talking about. I had seen so many people making it online lately. I was like, okay, I need to try making one myself. So I made this burger bowl just with some greens, some tomato, cucumber and red onion, and then those veggie patties that I fried up, as well as this delicious burger sauce, which was like mayo and mustard and all of that good stuff. Then when it came to dinner time, I decided I wanted to make some enchiladas. So I put some olive oil, red onion, chili, and some tinned tomatoes into my pan. Then I added in some coconut sugar and continued mixing this all together. And then I set this pan to the side. Then it was time to grab my other pan and to do my bean and my capsicum mixture and onion, so it seems. So I added in some red onion, some oil, as well as some taco seasoning. Then I added in some of my black beans as well as my red capsicum, and I mixed this all together, fried it all up, got it really nice and flavorful. And then I put the tomato sauce into the base and got rolling my enchiladas. Okay, are you ready to see my attempt at enchiladas out of the oven? Oh my goodness. We're still gonna eat them because I'm not gonna waste it, but it's just funny. I'm gonna get into eating some of this, and I will see you in the morning for hopefully a more successful recipe situation. Okay, bye. On Friday morning, I picked up a loaf of this gluten-free bread from that gluten-free bakery that I mentioned earlier in the video, and this bread is really good. Like, if you're on the Gold Coast, I recommend checking it out, and they have so many other good breads. And I toasted up a couple of pieces of this and then just smashed some avocado onto there. Then I also added on some juicy sliced tomato, also put some balsamic glaze on there, as well as some salt and some pepper to top. Just a very simple breakfast, but this is such a go-to for me, and especially good when you find a good gluten-free bread to have it on as well. For lunch, as I mentioned, I'm back on loving the kale, so I put some kale into a bowl with some olive oil, some salt, some nutritional yeast, massaged that all together, and then transferred it into my pan to fry it all up. Whilst that was happening, I got some of that gluten-free bread, the end of it, and I cut it up into like nice crouton bite-sized pieces, and then I put these into a bowl. I also added in some chickpeas, and then I added in some olive oil as well as some nutritional yeast and some veggie stock powder. Then I tossed this all together, and as you guys know, I have an air fryer now. I love it so much, and I put all of this in the air fryer to get nice and crispy. Whilst that was happening, I made a sauce, dressing, whatever you want to call it, with some mayo, some mustard, and some lemon juice and some water to thin it out, and I mixed that all together. Then into my serving bowl, I added in some lettuce as well as some cherry tomatoes, that crispy kale that I had fried up, as well as that sauce that I'd made, and I massaged this all together. Then I topped it with the chickpeas and the croutons, and it was a very delicious lunch. Loved it so much. When it came to preparing dinner, I'm really into like tearing up my tofu like this now. I feel like it soaks up the flavor so much more. And I was making this maple sesame tofu rice bowl thing. You're gonna love this recipe. I'm working on perfecting it. It is so good though. So I tore up my tofu, added on some rice bran oil, some maple syrup, and some tamari, and then I also added on some sesame seeds, and I massaged that all together, tossed it all together I should say, before transferring it into a pan and frying it all up. As you can see, over time it gets like really nice and crispy and golden, which is exactly what we want. And then when it came to serving this, I just had some rice as well as some green beans, all of that delicious tofu, and then a delicious sesame maple drizzle on top. And this delicious bowl brings us to the end of what I ate this week as a vegan. Hope you enjoyed and got lots of new vegan and gluten-free meal ideas to try out at home. As always, thank you so much for being here and supporting my YouTube channel. Hope you have a very beautiful day, and I'll see you next week with another video. Bye!